Number 8 in our post-spring ACC power rankings is 8 miles down the road in Tobacco Road, the North Carolina Tar Heels, which actually come in at 20-1 to win the ACC championship game ahead of Florida State and Duke. So if you want to bet this team, you're going to be paying that Bill Belichick tax, because that's, he's the hot team. He's the hot coach right now coming over. I mean, he's the GOAT, right? And he's coming to coach college ball for the first time. And he's doing it in Chapel Hill, where he obviously had some work to do from Mac Brown leaving. They had a mass exodus of players, so they got the number 9 transfer portal class coming in. We don't know much about what was going on this spring because, typical Billy B and his shtick, he hasn't made any players available to the media. And instead, he's just doing really awkward interviews with CBS. But one of their big guys they got, obviously from South Alabama, Gio Lopez at quarterback. He's a guy that, he looks like a typical Belichick quarterback. He takes care of the ball, 16 career games. He just has one multi-interception game. So he doesn't turn the ball over a lot. But North Carolina is a really interesting team this year, that obviously, they have the talent, but is the Belichick way and the Belichick method, is he going to be able to relate to his players? Is he going to transition from the NFL to the college ranks?
I think that the biggest thing with this North Carolina team, and I know, man, we're not predicting schedules and but like schedule obviously is important. But when it comes to a power ranking, we're not looking at schedules. But this team, it's hard not to mention their schedule. Like they've got the weakest schedule of any team in the Power Four.
Yeah.
And they're that team this year that you could be sitting there like maybe they're not one of the 5 or 6 best teams in the ACC, but because of their schedule, they're sitting there at the end of the year in the thick of it in the ACC race because they're not playing Clemson, they're not playing, Miami, they're not playing the best teams in the conference overall. Like, SMU last year, but SMU was a good football team last year, but they also did not play Miami or Clemson in the regular season last year. So that obviously it helps your chances to get to the ACC championship game when you're not playing the best teams in the conference. But obviously, Belichick did a wonderful job in hiring the staff around him. His son, Steve Belichick, is very well respected as a defensive coordinator. He was at Washington last year, did a really good job at Washington as a defensive coordinator last year for Jed Fish. Freddie Kitchens, who's a former NFL head coach and who's been an offensive coordinator in the NFL and in college football, is his OC in North Carolina. So for me, it really just to see, like, I'm just interested to see, like, what is the overall, like, skill position group going to be like on offense? Will the defense with both Belichick's, like, obviously, like, Bill's going to have a hand in the defense as well. Like, we know that's what Bill Belichick's specialty is. Will that defense be able to, dominate at the college football level with maybe not as much talent as he's used to working with? But they've done a good job in the portal. And I love what they did at the quarterback position, man. Like I told you when that first got made, like that kid can play. Gio Lopez can play. Really good dual threat guy. He played well against the better competition while at South Alabama. Major Applewhite was his head coach and working with him at South Alabama. Major Applewhite's been at really good places like Texas and Alabama and Houston and things like that before South Alabama. So I think they did a really good job of acquiring a solid QB there in the portal. It's just going to come down to what do the new players that they brought in through the transfer portal, obviously in year one, do those players hit? If they do, North Carolina can compete at a high level in the ACC. If they don't, could be a rough year. And these last 2 teams that we had, Duke at 7 and 8, I know when Tyler and I were going through this, trying to figure out our consensus here together. I mean, I think you could throw Duke, North Carolina, Virginia Tech, Pitt, and Syracuse. Those 5 teams, you could throw them in a hat. And if anybody watching this, if you disagree with who we have at 7 and 8, and you want to tell me you think that Pitt with Eli Holstein coming back and Pat Narduzzi's bunch, who usually puts out a good squad, or Fran Brown and Syracuse, bringing in Steve Angeli and some of the talent acquisition that Fran Brown's bringing in, Kyron Drones back at Virginia Tech. Like, if you want to tell me that you would have those teams over Duke and North Carolina, I'm not going to really sit there and argue with you. I think that you could throw those 5 teams in a hat and really come up with who you think should be at number 7 and 8 in the power rankings for the ACC right now post spring ball.